To Texas now, where a new law cracking down on sanctuary cities could lead to other states making similar moves. Governor Greg Abbott signed SB 4 into law during a Facebook Live event Sunday night. It bans sanctuary cities in Texas, and it also allows police to ask the immigration status of anyone that they stop. But one sheriff is fighting back. David Begnaud spoke to her.
I think it's bad for our community.
In Austin, Texas, Travis County Sheriff Sally Hernandez says SB 4 hurts her deputies' ability to fight crime.
We have witnesses that are undocumented that see a crime, but they're not going to feel comfortable coming forward.
But Governor Greg Abbott says police cannot pick and choose which laws they want to enforce. He believes SB 4 will keep criminals off the street.
This law cracks down on policies like the Travis County Sheriff, who declared that she would not detain known criminals accused of violent crimes.
Misinformation based on fear. I honor detainers for the more violent crimes.
Like rape and murder.
Right.
Many Texas sheriffs and police chiefs oppose the new law, saying they don't have the resources to enforce federal immigration law. They also fear that SB 4, which allows officers to ask crime victims or witnesses their immigration status, could lead to racial profiling.
I think you will see lawsuits from the different organizations where individuals may feel they're being targeted.
SB 4 has been compared to Arizona's so-called Show Your Papers law, which sparked protests and boycotts in 2010 before it was largely struck down by a federal court. And Sheriff Hernandez hopes SB 4 dies the same way.
Right.
If the law goes into effect, what are you going to do?
I will have to change my policy because I will not violate the law.
Well, earlier I talked to David Begnaud about how the community and civil rights groups are reacting to the new controversial law.
So it's interesting. We have a little bit of insight into that because the governor made his announcement on Facebook Live when he signed the law. Conveniently, he didn't have to take any questions when he sat in his office and did it on Facebook. But I went through some of the comments, and you have the normal back and forth. You have a lot of people in the state of Texas who love the governor for doing what he did. And you have tons of people in the state of Texas and outside who just are slamming him at every turn. I would say it sort of seemed balanced as I looked through the comments. As you drive around the state of Texas, to be honest with you, most people are going on about their lives. Not many people have heard about the ACLU travel advisory telling people to not go to Texas because of the new law.
Oh, that's very interesting. You mentioned in your piece that some people say this could lead to racial profiling. But give me an idea of what the other side of the argument is. How is this law not discrimination?
Well, look, the other side, the people who support the law say, hey, listen, there's already a federal law. In fact, the governor said, isn't it a shame that the state of Texas had to pass a law to enforce local officials to enforce an existing federal law? Think about that for a minute. That's the governor's comment. Now you have the people who are on the critical side, who don't like the law, who say, here's the problem. The next time I got to go pull over a guy who's missing a tail light, I'm afraid that it's going to lead to a foot chase or a car chase because he's worried that when I get to his driver's door, I'm going to say to him, hey, show me your papers. This law actually allows authorities, it allows them to ask someone's immigration status if they feel like they need to, including crime victims and witnesses, right? Doesn't mandate it, but it allows them. Anne Marie, I want to give you a little bit of backstory on how this all came about. You had a newly elected sheriff here in the Austin area who came into power and said, look, I don't have the resources to enforce federal immigration law all the time. Not to mention, I'm not the federal police, right? That's what she said. So the governor of Texas said, really, lady? I'm going to take away state funding from you, and I'm going to pass a law that actually threatens to remove you from office and fine you or even put you in jail if you don't. The sheriff didn't flinch, and the governor made good on his word. That's how we got to where we are today.
Oh, that is very interesting. But the argument about funding and about resources is a significant one. Texas doesn't have any sanctuary cities, but sanctuary cities all across the country, that's what you hear from police departments in those cities. They say, look, we don't have the resources to do the federal government's job. So will there be more funding for the cities in Texas?
No, that's what the local sheriff will tell you. Where am I going to get this funding? The Travis County Sheriff, which represents the Austin area, said to me yesterday, so the next time they call, and I'm obligated, if they call at 10 o'clock on a Friday night and say, I need 10 of your deputies to go do a federal immigration raid, she said, what do? Do I have to pay people overtime? Do I have to call them off another assignment to go help the federal authorities? She said, and where do I get that money? which is a valid question. Now, to your point of Texas having no sanctuary cities, the critics would tell you there are sanctuary cities all over the state of Texas. However, you have the mayor of Austin who reportedly met with Jeff Sessions, the attorney general, and says that Mr. Sessions told him by definition the city of Austin is not a sanctuary city. And Anne Marie, as you know, when it comes to legal terms, everything is how you meet that definition.
That is so true, David Begnaud. I suspect this is not the end of this conversation there in Texas. You'll be down there again updating us at some point. David Begnaud, thank you so much.
You bet.